Hey everyone, this is Louis7, and in this video I will be talking about the recently announced Legacy Bundle in the Lord of the Rings Online, and if it is worth the massive price of $200 US. And to be honest, I actually recorded this video last night, but the audio was like way messed up, so I'm trying it again this morning. And the gameplay will be, in the background, will be on my Warden and the Legendary server tanking Great Barrow, and this is probably going to be a long video, so I might need even more. So one way to look at it is the price of the individual stuff you get, but I will also be taking a deeper look than that because I think a lot of the stuff you get in the Legacy Bundle isn't all that useful, to be honest, or is kind of redundant. And also, to be honest, my initial reaction of the Legacy Bundle is that it is not worth it at all. $200 is a lot of money, at least to me it is, so if I were to buy it, it had better be worth it. And initially, I even thought from a newer returning player perspective that the bundle didn't even make all that much sense. So now I have had more time to think about it, and let's go ahead and get into what the bundle gives and the value of the stuff in it. At this point, I will be using a spreadsheet made by Edelith. I think that's how you say their name. I saw it from them on Twitter, and Arithart, who I think is also a streamer, if I'm saying his name correctly as well, helped edit that. So shout out to them for making this. And I will link that below in the description, but I don't think the spreadsheet is perfect, and I think there's some minor errors with it, but they do really list out everything nicely in the actual price and LOTRO points, but I don't think it really just tells the full story, basically, of the value and stuff in it. So to start off, the big things you get are all the quest packs from the beginning of LOTRO up to the latest release by December 31st, 2018, so anything released before 2019, and you also get 1 year of VIP with that. The rest of the things are, as I consider them, neat little bonuses you can get that they may add up in cost, but overall some of them I don't think are actually all too valuable, and we'll get on that later and doing an analysis and see what all that stuff is really worth to me and to you maybe. But I think the big disappointment for my initial reaction was that you only get the quest packs for each expansion instead of it including the actual expansions. It just includes the quest packs. So any additional things from expansions you will not get, like the Warden or Runekeeper classes of note. And I just want to point out you also don't get the High Elf or Bjorning, which I think is two other big disappointments from spending $200 on a Legacy bundle like this. So what the quest packs for the expansions does include are the quests from the expansions, the instances and raids from the expansions, and the deeds from the expansions. And it is important to note that you do not get these for being VIP, which you get 1 year from this bundle. And that does bring me to the next part that I did not initially like. And I do want to mention right now that VIP costs $100, which is half the price of the Legacy bundle. And 1 year of VIP will net you 6,000 LOTRO points by the time the year is up, which would be included with this bundle, basically. And you get 1 year of VIP, which unlocks all non-expansion quest packs, as I mentioned, for that duration of being VIP. And if you plan to stay VIP after that year, there's really no need to actually have any of these quest packs that are outside of the expansion. And it doesn't really add to the value of the Legacy bundle for that. And for me right now, I'm a VIP subscriber to LOTRO, so the quest packs add nothing of value to me if I were to buy this Legacy bundle. And on top of that, if you wanted the quest packs for, say, like later on in the Legendary servers and bought this because you are a new player, and maybe you decided to join the Legendary servers because there are a bunch of people running around and there's not this huge gap between you and a level cap character, well, you still need VIP to play on them, so it's kind of irrelevant to get the value out of that once again. So that just seemed a bit odd to me, and maybe if we look at it differently, this is just something you get on top of other bonuses, or maybe for people who may be like VIP for 1 year, then just work on questing and don't really care about staying VIP, and they can work on questing in the quest packs that they do get. So setting the whole VIP and quest pack combination ordeal aside, let's go ahead and look at the cost of the big stuff. So all the quest packs, including the expansion quest packs, adds up to about 22.6 thousand LOTRO points, which is quite a lot. And that itself, if you were to buy that from the LOTRO store, the $200 LOTRO point bundle would get you the most efficient way of getting that. You could make it more expensive by buying the cheaper bundles, but considering the quest packs alone at base price, it makes the Legacy bundle actually seem worth it. Unfortunately, it also shows that LOTRO expensive game that cost $200, so that was part of my initial reaction, as I thought $200 was a lot for that content, but apparently it's more in line with the normal price if you were to buy all those quest packs. And yeah, just to get all that, which doesn't even include other expansion content, is quite expensive for LOTRO in general. And if you were to buy the expansions instead of get their quest pack, sorry, OBS just went totally weird on me, but it's still going. If you were to buy the expansions instead of get their quest packs, that would be $150 for the expansions. And that gets you more than the quest packs and would save from the cost of LOTRO points by about 10,000 roughly, I think, when I added it up. And overall, you would spend $250 for all the quest packs plus full expansions is how that would work out about. So it'd be $50 more for the full expansions plus all the quest packs inside the Legacy bundle. And if you got the quad pack, which actually includes LOTRO's first 4 expansions at a reduced price, that would save only $20, but it's still $20. So that'd be like basically $30 more than the Legacy bundle to also include the expansion packs if you were to buy everything from the LOTRO store or LOTRO market at base price with no sales or anything considered. And even at that point, if you wanted the full expansions on top of the Legacy bundles, say, you would be looking at spending like $130 additional on top of the $200 for the Legacy bundle for if you got like the quad pack and all 6 expansions. So right now it really looks like the Legacy bundle is a bad deal, and you can probably see why my initial reaction was to kind of stay away from it, and it wasn't good even for maybe new players or returning players. And if you are looking especially for full expansion packs instead of just the quest packs, it's not looking that great, but it also looks like a bad deal if you're already VIP and have all the expansions. Just from the stuff we've seen so far, we still have to look at the little bonus stuff, and if that adds to be worth the $200 even for a player like me. And finally, it does look like a bad deal if you plan to always stay VIP, even if you are starting out new, because the $200 for all the quest packs, or it'd actually be, I think, about $100 for all the quest packs if you ignore the expansions, doesn't add anything to the value if you plan to always stay VIP. So who is this good deal good for? Well, right now it looks like new players who want to own all content but not necessarily full expansion packs, returning players who don't own much content at all but want to own all the content without full expansions. So yeah, it's pretty slim and narrow to who it targets, but it does target that big area of new players, which could be a good thing for LOTRO and a good thing for new players to be able to buy this, even though it's quite expensive again. But I will go down the list now in the spreadsheet to see the cost of the items as the little things that I keep mentioning, as well as the value and my opinion on them. So the first thing we have is the Crystal of Remembrance, which costs 1,000 LOTRO points in the store. And you get this on every character you make. And individually, I would never consider buying it for roughly $10. But if you play a lot of alts, it does kind of add up in value, I guess. It's something that's somewhat useful at very high level. If you are a new player, you definitely probably won't be too familiar with what it is. It affects your legendary items basically to upgrade them. Usually you use 1 per legendary item and you get 2 legendary items. So that's kind of just how that works out. As far as I remember, that's how it works out. It's been a while, but you get relatively easy in game even. So I don't really consider that too much of a bonus, but for 1,000 LOTRO points, that it gets you in value per character, you could consider that a decent amount, especially if you level a lot of alts to very high level where it's actually going to be useful. So moving on to the next item, the Premium Wallet is actually a huge quality of life item, and I would consider that worth the 1,000 LOTRO points that it adds to the bundle. And the next thing, 250 Mithril Coins are quite useful, and Mithril Coins are one of the few things I personally spend my LOTRO points on now that I have basically all the other quality of life items unlocked that I want. So that value is worth the cost to me as well. The riding skill I would theoretically pick up for 100 LOTRO points and consider it worth it, but, and this is a huge but, I would recommend the account-wide journeyman riding trait to anyone looking for something like that, to be able to get riding on all their characters and at an increased speed. And really for anyone who plans to play alts, it's just one of the starting like quality of life things I recommend to people if they're looking to spend money on the game like that and already have some other basic things. So this one I think is kind of worth it, and definitely, at least for the bundle, I could consider it worth it, because if you're just playing like one character for this, it does add some value and lets you ride your mount easier and earlier. So the 5 Vitality Tomes, I would definitely never consider buying this for effectively what's roughly $15 in terms of LOTRO points, and they just give a little effect and provides it to a single character. And sure, it's nice to have from this bundle, I guess, but really value-wise, it's not worth the cost if you bought it outside of the bundle. And then the next 2 are kind of similar. You get 10 skill and Slayer Deed boost as well as 10 reputation boost. Both of these I don't think are worth spending LOTRO points on at all. And they are actually pretty crazy expensive from the LOTRO store, and you can even get the reputation boost pretty easily in the game. And the skill and Slayer D boost I don't think provide much value. I don't really ever find the need to use the boost to just go twice as fast with some of your deeds. But the next item is the Fleet-Footed Goat, which is a mount you get, but it is also different because it is a goat and you can use it in Moria and actually gives you something to use your riding skill. We'll see you get another mount, so but this one you can use in Moria, for example, where you can't use horses. And overall, I'm kind of indifferent on this one. I wouldn't personally spend 1,500 LOTRO points on a goat, but we can consider that as adding to the value, I think. And now we do get into some biases I have, and if you don't know, I hate spending money on cosmetic items, so I will try to evaluate these items from the mindset that you maybe like cosmetic items and consider them worth it and will get your value out of them. But if you're like me, I would never consider spending money on stuff like this, and it'll be about 4,000 LOTRO points that the cosmetic items contribute to, which is probably about $35 or so from like converting it to money to the value and cost. And these items are the Bird Bath, Hedgehog House, Sleeping Cat, Bevy of Swans, Ice Sculpture, Makeshift Mumak, Hound Property Guard, and Gondorian Supplier Horn. I believe these are all housing items. It has those in that section on the website at least. And personally, again, I would never spend money on these, and it's about $35 worth of stuff you get there. Just to consider the cost of stuff if you do like the cosmetics. And to continue on the list of stuff you get a mount picker, which lets you pick from different mounts. This is the other mount you get, the non-goat one, I guess is the way you could put it. And this is only one mount for one character again, so that isn't too exciting, but it's also not anything you can directly buy. You can get this in-game from Hobbit gifts, which are effectively boxes you open with random stuff daily, and if you are VIP weekly for free. In technical LOTRO value, it is probably $15 or so, but I would again consider spending about maybe $0 on it, but that's just me. And the next thing is a premium ingredients crate, which is actually an interesting item I may consider buying in the future myself. So this gives you 6 ingredient packs, which can be used in most crafting recipes in the game as an alternative store-bought ingredient instead of like the usual ingredients you actually get in-game. And just to give some context on how many 6 really is, some items take up to like 5 or even more, while others, I'm not sure the exact amount, like how high they can get up to, but some of them only take 1, just kind of a reference of how many some of your recipes to craft like a chess piece will take. But what the crate actually does is give you a box to open every day, which contains 6 ingredient packs, so it's a lot more than just 6 ingredient packs, and that's as long as you are VIP. So in terms of the total amount of ingredient packs you can get, it sure is worth it, the 1,000 LOTRO points, but if you don't craft or aren't VIP, it isn't worth much. But with the Legacy Bundle, you do get the 1 year of VIP, and that does, if you open this box every day, that does add up to a lot of ingredient packs you get, and can just let you craft a lot of stuff without needing actual resources. So it's kind of a nice bonus for that, and in short, I consider it worth the 1,000 LOTRO point value. So the next item we have on the list is the Fishpond, which I have no idea what this is, to be honest. I know it's a housing decoration, and that's about it, but to me it sounds like you put it in your yard and it has some fish in it. I don't know, maybe you can actually go fishing in it. As far as I know, it's not in the game right now. That's why I don't really have any idea what it is, but maybe it is. I don't know again, but the point is you cannot buy it from the store with LOTRO points, so there's no additional cost from this one if you were going to try and get it in-game without buying the Legacy Bundle. And you just have to think of the value it actually provides to you on top of everything else you get without like an actual cost. But the next item we have here is 20 housing rich, so this is actually going to be useful to put all of your housing decoration items to actually have a house. And these housing writs are actually way expensive, and I would never consider spending. They're worth 5,000 LOTRO points, the massive cost of them, the 20 of them, and I would never consider spending $50 on that for 20 housing writs. But what it effectively does is get you a free premium house, as they're called in the game, I believe, and just as a part of the Legacy Bundle. And honestly, you do get a nice house along with all the housing cosmetics, a place to actually show off your housing cosmetics. So if that interests you, this is a bit under $50 in cost and value. And the last item we are finally getting to, almost 20 minutes into this, is all the crafting utilities in the game that you can put at your house, which you can get your house with the housing writs again, but anyway, these are pretty nice to have, and I would consider them worth about 2,500 LOTRO points they would cost you. So this lets you basically do your crafting at your house. Some people I personally like, I don't know, I kind of consider this one something that's nice to have. I underutilize the housing system in LOTRO, to be honest, so I do consider that, again, worth the 2,500 LOTRO points overall, to not get too rambly about that. But we finally got through every item in the Legacy Bundle and my thoughts on them, and kind of analyzed each item. So how do these items affect the Legacy Bundle as a whole, and who it's for, and if it's really worth spending $200 on? So all these little items that I mentioned add up to a total of 22,000 LOTRO points in the store if you were to buy them, excluding the mount picker item and the Fishpond. Those two you cannot buy directly in the LOTRO store. So this is actually quite similar to the cost of all the quest packs, which is also about $200. So at this point, everything adds up to $400, and it is worth mentioning at this point that the LOTRO store, you can get bonus points each time you purchase LOTRO points. So the actual cost of total LOTRO points brings that $400 down from the bundles to about $350. So if you were to buy everything outside of the Legacy Bundle, it is $450 total, adding in the cost of 1 year of VIP, which is quite a bit more than the $200 of the Legacy Bundle, over twice as much. So from the standpoint, if you think you are interested in everything here, it is worth that much. From the viewpoint I mentioned of stuff that doesn't really add value to the bundle, to me personally, that we talked about, but adds to the cost of the items if you were to buy them outside of the bundle, it still comes out to over $400, which is actually mainly from VIP and the quest packs at this point. But in that, it is also worth it. And from the viewpoint of not caring about cosmetics, it is about $350, which is still relatively worth it cost-wise, mainly because VIP and the quest packs add up to $300 of that. So now let's go ahead and decide if the Legacy Bundle is worth it. So for new players, yes, I do think the Legacy Bundle is worth it, but that is only if you are interested in all the content released before 2019 in the game and don't want the full expansions and don't plan on being permanently VIP. And if you do plan to be permanently VIP, it is somewhat worth it if you don't mind not having full expansions and still want to spend on potential other things. If you really like all the bonuses you get and the extra stuff of the Legacy Bundle, you could consider it like maybe worth it. To me, it personally won't, but if that stuff, especially the cosmetics, really interests you, it could be worth it. And even at that point, you would still want to maybe spend on other potential things like the Runekeeper Warden, Bjorning, High Elf Race, and additional bag slots, for example, and Journeyman Writing, and just a lot of little things like that I would definitely consider recommending to new players to buy on top of the Legacy Bundle, which is kind of annoying. And then for returning players, it is only worth it if you don't really own that much content, and it's pretty much the same as the new player perspective, the 3 conditions. If you are interested in all the content released before 2019, if you don't necessarily want the full expansion packs, don't mind just getting the quest packs from them, and if you don't plan on being permanently VIP. So for current players or free-to-play players, well, if you don't want to be a free-to-play player and spend money, and actually that's kind of the free-to-play player thing, is you don't spend money, but if you do want to spend money, again, it's considering the exact same thoughts for new players or returning players, same as other current players. And for VIP players and current VIP players in particularly, I just don't think it is worth it. And even if you are brand new or a free-to-play player and decide to become a subscriber, I don't really think it's too much worth it, because you get all those quest packs just for being VIP. And if you're going to keep your VIP subscription, especially if you play on the legendary server, I don't think it's worth it. So at this point, towards the end here, I do want to talk about some things I would recommend for Standing Stone Games to change. Not necessarily, maybe with this legacy bundle, but for bundles in the future, just what I would add to them or do differently. The first thing is I would include the full expansion packs instead of just the quest packs from them. The expansion packs get you like the Runekeeper and Warden. And the next thing is I would also include the Runekeeper and Warden, which would be irrelevant with the expansion packs included, but I would also include the Bjorning High Elf on top of that. And the next thing is I would include the Journeyman riding trait, because it's useful to have account-wide, I think, and I would also include an account-wide mount just to have on all your characters from it on top of that. And then the next thing is more character slots, because I like making a lot of characters, and you have kind of limited character slots in LOTRO. So I think getting more character slots could definitely be beneficial to make your Bjornings, High Elves, Runekeepers, Wardens, all your other classes and characters you want to make that you can think of and level up and do all that stuff with. But the last thing, I don't know, you could add a lot of little things, like there you have a lot of little things, but I really think adding additional bag slots, I think you still have to unlock the 6 bag in LOTRO if you're just starting out. I think they could include stuff like that, because I consider that way more valuable than stuff like the skill and slayer and reputation boost there that we actually have in this legacy bundle. So those are just some recommendations I have. Yeah, this video has been really long so far, and there's just really a whole lot to consider of if the legacy bundle is worth it. And again, my initial reaction was to stay away from it, but after taking some time to think and analyzing this stuff like I did in this video, I would say it has some potential to be worth it. So I hope you all did enjoy this video, and if you have any thoughts on the legacy bundle, if you think it's worth it or not worth it, please do share in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this or learn something useful, please consider liking and subscribing for more. Those stuff definitely help my channel, and thanks for watching, everyone.